So I have this dream, and it's set in the future, and you're in New York City, sort of going over the streets like a little bit like Grand Theft Auto style, and then you go down, and there are these like NYPD officers in these like riot gear type helmets and like these big poofy jackets, and it says like NYPD on them. And then there are these special forces guys like wearing all black and like sort of more like low profile, whatever, mask things. And they have these huge handguns, and the NYPD have these like big machine guns. And there's this one guy just going up and just shooting all of the NYPD officers and just like murdering all of them. And then he goes up, and then there's like other guys like also shooting NYPD officers. And then one guy, like the guy that their camera's sort of following, like gets up into a bus of NYPD officers and just starts slaughtering them, and just like, and like all the other guys are like, whoa, that's like too much. And because there's like supposed to be like some sort of culling of the officers, but you can't just like murder all of them. So like the rules are weird. And he's just like murdering them mercilessly. And then like the other special forces guys sort of go away, and there's just this one guy who's like shooting them. And then the NYPD sort of starts closing in on him, and there's just like all of a sudden there's just hundreds and hundreds of officers, and they all have like machine guns, and some of them are like SWAT guys. And so he gets into the squad car as like for cover, and he's like shooting out at them, and they're just like, and then they start shooting their machine guns, and there's so many of them, and it just adds on, but it's like walls and walls of bullets, like not even like a completely grotesque amount of bullets, just like, and like so many that it just sounds like grinding. You can't even pick apart the different bullets sounding. It's like, and like they're like the metal must be hitting in midair, just like literally. And the squad car is like so well armored that it can just take it, and you can just see it like making these dents in there. And there's like, it like explodes, but like the safety stuff inside the squad car makes so it's like totally, he's like safe in there. And then they're like closing in, they're right in there. And then they go to open the door, and like he's just gonna get completely killed by these guys, obviously. But then he's just not there. And then the camera sort of goes around and like goes beneath the car, and then there's like a little sewage pipe opening, and the camera just goes in there, and then you see the special forces guys all like walking really quietly, just like, and they're wearing like sort of these white lab type suits, and they're not talking to each other, just sort of single file, but there's only 5 of them, sort of well spaced out. It sort of goes like over their heads, and then in the front there's this one that's like a praying mantis man, but in one of these suits, and there's like extra arms over here, and it's just sort of walking and doesn't say anything, and it's just sort of, they go up, and then they end up in this weird library type thing they have set up in the sewer, and they all take off their masks like, yeah. And then this one guy, the main guy who was like killing all the NYPD officers, like realized that he had been shot through his suit, but he wasn't hurt, and it's revealed like, it was just sort of revealed to me because I was dreaming, but like they say like, oh, you're actually this type of super soldier, and the reason why we haven't gotten hurt with all those bullets was we're wearing like these glass suits, and it's like these suits made of this really hard type of glass that forms to the body perfectly, but when you take it off, there's actually like weird little shards of glass that stay in your skin, and that's like the price you pay for being like basically invincible. And so they have to like, and there's like a whole part where they're like squeezing out the glass from their skin. And then, but the guy, it's like, he's like, realizes he's like immortal and or not immortal, but like indestructible. And he starts like, they start having this like weird fight with like hatchets where they're just like chopping at each other. And then it cuts to like, 50 or 100 years later, and there's like a whole academy of kids that are these type of super soldiers, and he was like, that guy was like the first one, and the kids are like sort of miserable because it's like they can't die, and so there's like a lot of kids like they get brought around in these like racks where they're being hung like this, and one guy the way they die is they just take like pills and they kill themselves, and it's like very common for them to kill themselves, and this one guy has a sister. And when he's like on the bus, that's like where he's like looking out and he sees his sister, walking, and it's like her legs are all like weird and long because of the rain falling down. So it's like you see the rain through the thing. Her legs are all long. And when I was having the dream, I was like, oh, is this like a Kubrick movie or something? Like, that's a pretty cool shot. And then they are trying to steal his sister and kill her, kidnap her, because he's because then he'll have nothing to lose and he'll be a better super soldier. But the super soldiers in this system are like a higher class, so that if he sees people messing around with the sister, they have to like back off and like go away, even though he's like a student still. And then basically it's like they have to run away together because he realizes they're just gonna kidnap her. He's gonna have to go to his super soldier school and they're gonna kidnap her whenever he has his back turned. So they run off together like immediately. And then they run into New York City because now they're like upstate at this super soldier school. And like, then they're like hiding out in the woods and there's like all this stuff. And then, but in New York City at this point, like it's so loud in New York, and because it's like there's constant advertisements playing and there's like, and it's so bright that you have to wear sunglasses like in there all the time, even when it's night, because it's like the brightness of everything is so intense. And they're actually, the sunglasses are made to be extra dark just because of that, and the lights are made brighter so you can see the advertisements through the sunglasses. So it's like the brightest ones are like, you still get McDonald's and it's like, or whatever. And everything's so loud that you have to wear earplugs, and if you don't wear those things, then that's like your ears will bleed and it's like you'll go blind, and it's like just so, it's really fucking intense. And then, yeah, so I didn't really, there's no like good finish to the dream, but I imagine that there'd be some sort of standoff, and he's like invincible, so it'd be cool. And his sister's not invincible.